welcome. Today we are doing a special call. We don't usually do 2 Monday calls in the month, but I wanted to get on and talk about the financial healing retreat that I will be taking you through this weekend. Starts on Friday the 13th. And I don't know if you read my email, some of you, I hope you did. Okay. So number 13 is not avoided in the Asian cultures. In fact, number 4 is avoided in the Asian cultures. So if you push the elevator numbers, you will see in Asia, there's no 4. Okay. But number 13 is an auspicious number and it's a great number. And so I purposely chose the 13th to do the financial healing retreat. For those of you like, why is she doing it on a Friday the 13th? Mom, that's because that's a very good number in Asian society. So, and I have to say that has served me well, the number 13. So really embrace it. Enjoy it this Friday. Don't be fearful. That's a nonsense. Okay. That should be totally celebrated, to be honest with you. In fact, every number should be, but so that's one thing I wanted to get started with. And yeah, good to see all of you. But Chris, do you have anything to add before we get kind of start talking about it? I wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you.
I want to add one quick thing, which is that for all of you that are watching live or watching this recorded, this will actually be quite possibly the last live program that Masami does in 2022. So this is a great opportunity to join us and come together and have a very dynamic and meaningful experience personally and also as a part of our community. So we hope that you will all join us.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Chris, because I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I'm actually taking some time off and not doing so many courses and work so much. So this is most likely my very last course that I'll be teaching this year. And we might do our annual event at the end of the year, but and I'm actually encouraging Chris to do his thing too, because he has some amazing things that he can teach too. So, but it's it's been one after another for me. And one is that when you do a lot of these interviews, it's required of me to produce courses as well. Just so you know in the background what happens in these interviews, right? And I just felt I really wanted to bring up this topic of spirituality, soul, and your soul contract with the financial health also, because I think it's an area of the conversations that we tend to kind of skip over and we put finance as something totally aside. And I'm very fascinated by this topic, to be honest. And if we shy away from it and if we are nervous about it and we don't learn about it, I think it'll end up impacting your energetic fields overall, because money is just a flow of energy. It's just another form of vibration and frequencies. So why are we separating them? Anytime when you compartmentalize your life like that, I think it shows up on your body too, and vice versa, right? So I'm very interested in this topic. And, just to kind of give you a background, because you might be like new to me and you're like, why is she talking about the finance? Who is this lady that talks about medical intuitive or health intuitive? And then now all of a sudden the finance, but I'm a proud business owner. I have been for over 20 years now. I started to run my own business in 1998. And I am proud to say I've never worked for anyone in my life except babysitting. And then college, I worked for a sushi restaurant and as a sushi chef. Yeah, sure. Okay. And I did work for my mom or work together with my mom to learn the tools of linguistics that my father created. And, I took on a business role and went off on my own from that point forward. But it's been fascinating to own your own business. It's a lot of work, but it's so rewarding. Can you imagine, for those of you that know me, Mary Bossett, can you imagine if I had to work for somebody else? She's shaking her head. Yeah, there's no way I'll even like be able to handle it even for a week, maybe even a day. It's just I can't. And I did some, I don't know, I worked in a flower shop for flower arrangements while I was in college and my master's program and so on and so forth. But anyway, I just love working with entrepreneurs, to be honest with you, especially women entrepreneurs. Those are my favorite people to work with because I just find you incredibly powerful, and you have to have your confidence intact and you have to be grounded to do the work you do to put yourself out there. So congratulations and good for you. Keep going and let's support one another. And I don't come from money. Chris didn't come from money, certainly not. But we have been able to really expand our energetic fields around money. And I just want to share some of that with all of you because I think so much of the teachings about the finance and financial flow is about how do I manifest? For those of you that took 29.5 days of my moon class last month, it wasn't about writing what you want to manifest in the new moon and then let's see what happens in the full moon. There's so much work that went into it. Remember, we worked on our bodies, we worked on supplements, we worked on diets, we worked on movements, breath work, energetic work. I mean, there's so much that you really want to be involved with. So if you feel like your life is like the flow feels stuck and you're experiencing some stagnations, first thing you want to look at is, am I creating movements, actions? Because if you're not involved in your vision and you're not doing the action part, then you're just pretty much daydreaming, right? You're just kind of hanging out. So nothing much will change in your life. So I'm here to really bring the subject of finance and wealth and the flow into a spiritual community, and to say that you can have abundance that comes from a finance and money, and you can be spiritual too. Okay. And many of you know, even the diet too, for me, is that I don't have to be a vegetarian or vegan to be spiritual. I said it in public, right? I eat my red meats and I love my lamb on the bones and I eat it like an animal. And, I'm good with it. That does not make me less spiritual. Okay. So just want to let you know all that right off the bat, because because you might be sitting here for the first time and you're going, I don't know about that. I want to stay with vegan. And maybe, this time that you might say, maybe I don't want to listen to Masami, or maybe I'm intrigued. What is she saying? I don't know. Either way, you can go either direction. I'm all good with it. Come on in and let's do this together. So Chris, do you want to have anything else that you want to add before I go into what this weekend is going to be like?
Well, I think that you've definitely stirred up some intriguing statements with what you just said, and this is a topic. I mentioned this because on our last week Monday call, our Monday live call, we introduced this topic a little bit, and one of the things that I shared is that I was brought up in a household that was very rigid and judgmental around money, and that's something that has shaped much of my life because I was often getting stuck in the place. And this is something where Masami and I would sometimes have tension, or, I remember asking her sometimes, well, how much is enough? And that question was, it seemed like a reasonable question. But I also, over time, have come to see how that question was coming from that way that I was brought up, which is once you cross beyond the point of only having absolutely what you need, something's wrong. And that's something that I've personally had to work through myself. And so a lot of these things that Masami is going to be introducing, these are not only grounding practices that help to unlock the flow around money and finances, but this probably won't surprise those of you that have been following Masami and the work that we've been doing together, is that when you practice these things, it starts to unlock the flow of everything in your life. And so, of course, it's not surprising that the financial piece would be included. Of course it is. It's all connected. So I'll pause there and let you take over, Masami, and we'll.
Well, and then I wanted to quickly say that many of you have been taking practically all the courses I've offered so far. And thank you for that. Thank you. And, you know, I thought maybe, Chris, you could read the what is it, testimonials from our moon courses. Maybe those will be helpful. But, you know, I would love for Mary Bosse to chime in as well, because she's taken every single thing I put out there. And some of you have too. Yeah. And it's just, and I had this question that came to me last year, and this person said, I took this course from you, and in this next one, is it going to be similar? Are you going to be sharing the same thing? And okay, for those of you that have taken my courses after courses after courses, do I just repeat the same thing? Do I ever just keep giving you the same thing? No, because I'm evolving. I'm learning, and I always share something that will be new for you. So please know that. And Mary, I'd love to know, Mary Bosse, I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to ask them you. I want to know why you keep taking my courses. Why are you always there, Mary?
Because I love you.
All right.
And besides that,
yes.
Well, because I keep learning new things. I mean, I love learning. And boy, oh boy, the stuff that you bring in is stuff that I would never have learned just doing what I was doing. You know, working in a law firm is an exciting thing. And I had a great place to work and all that stuff, but I didn't learn any of this kind of stuff. This is so interesting because each topic is different. And it is just a whole expanse of things. And sometimes I think, oh, she must have just thought that one up last night. Knowing that's not the truth, but it's that varied and that different. It's exciting because I don't want to miss any of them. I just don't have enough time to re-listen to them over and over and over again as much as I'd like to.
I'm like, Mary, I think I'm like, is she stalking me? Because she's taken every single thing. No, I'm just kidding, Mary. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not too worried about it. You're far enough away, honey.
But yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. And
I urge everyone.
This is going to be different, but in the same theme of bring it back to the body again.
Well, that moon course was just unbelievable. It was a challenge in all ways for me. Showing up every day, I found was at first just, oh, this is really fun. And then it was like, oh man, I forgot. I got to be there again today. But each day was something more and interesting and more new information. I have a book this thick with just notes crazy. And that's not even the stuff that you guys posted. So that's how I am. Well, and I really encourage everyone to take as many of your courses as they can. They're cheap. Besides that, they're cheap.
I know they are. It's like they're ridiculous. Okay.
All right, that's enough. You know, I'll just keep talking.
All right, I'm going to mute you. Thank you, though, Mary.
Thank you, honey. Thank you both.
Thank you. Yeah, it's and the good news is that this is going to be my last course that I'm teaching this year. So you guys get to go back and read your notebook for the first time again, finally. So I won't put more on top of everything else. Okay, I promise you. And you know, I will go into what this course or this weekend is going to be like. But I wanted to say once again, happy Mother's Day. And like I said in the email, it's like whether you received lots of love from your mother or lack of, I hope you had the chance to celebrate. I thought of several women in my life that have really created way forward in my life. And it's so important because without these people in my life, particularly these women in my life, there are times that I just wanted to quit my life many times, just be done, and just leave this body. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you to all of you that supported me. And, Mary Basse is one of those mothers for me too. She has been there from the beginning for me. So thank you. Yeah. And what's interesting is that I started receiving emails and texts, people thanking me for Happy Mother's Day several years ago. And I thought that was so interesting when that started to happen. And Chris said, well, that makes sense because the work you do is nourishing others. And so I started to embrace my own motherhood in this life, that I might not have my own children, but definitely I get to be the mother energy, mother archetype that I have in me too. So, and I wanted to read this little quick text that I received yesterday. So she started to come and see me in her late 20s. She could barely get out of bed. She would be falling asleep at work. She would fall asleep on the bus because she had chronic fatigue syndrome and she could barely function. And so she was introduced to me to come and see me. This is when I used to see clients, and she's still my client, but she since got married. She had her second boy, and just a few months ago, and she texted me and she said, thank you. She says, happy, healthy Mother's Day. She says, I believe my boys are so healthy because of you. You've been a huge blessing in our lives. And, she's able to nurse the second boy as well. She has so much more energy. She can stay up with these boys. And, this is why these are the little texts and emails that I receive that makes me want to keep doing it. And this is also my wealth. This is what I receive every day. So I just wanted to mention that. And thank you for those of you that emailed me and texted me to say Happy Mother's Day to me. Yeah. So, okay. So let's get started, Chris, and then we will take some Q&A at the end as well. You want to read the testimonials that Pauline, who's here?
Sure. Yeah. Let me read that. And so we wanted to just share a couple of the comments that were made after the most recent program that we did, that was about the moon and reclaim your moon power. And we just wanted to share these because this is so important for us to hear how the work is impacting people. So this one's from Pauline. And she says, if you are seeking healing on many levels with clear and expert teachers, please take as many courses as you can with Masami and Chris Covey. They weave well-researched science, poetry, intuitive reading, suggestion for healthful diet and supplements, exercises, meditations, and music into a beautifully presented and understandable tapestry individualized for the group which has gathered. They share meaningful slides to visually explain complex concepts relating to the topics at hand. Their incredible attention to detail is intended to educate and uplift each person and is shared in a thoughtful, open, caring manner. Their heartful, gentle, yet strong teaching style welcomes the learner in. They encourage inquiry, which is the heart of learning. Please honor yourself and take their very reasonably priced courses. Their loving expertise will enrich your life.
Thanks, Pauline. I see you. And you want to read that other one, and then we'll get started on the other.
And another one came from Jalika, who is taking the recent course from Zagreb in Croatia. And she says, it is hard to put words into the wealth of gifts this course has given me, and continues to do so, because this is not just a course, just another program. This is an ongoing, continual life support system. There is no way you could process all its gifts in one take, and you shouldn't even try. With this abundance of information and resources given, its emotional, spiritual, philosophical layers, you have entered the world of wonder, and you never want to leave. Masami and Chris, you've made me feel like a part of your soul family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I could just add to this, that Masami has been the the mastermind behind all of this course teaching. And I've come along for the ride more and more recently. As the work has grown, I've been able to participate more. But I just really wanted to call out Masami for how incredibly creative she has been in weaving together complex concepts, complex ways of living our lives in a way that's simple to understand and easy to implement. And it's been really fun for me to see what happens every time we unpack one of these programs and watch it come to life with all of you. So we're looking forward to this next one, because it's always something of a dance. There's a structure, there's a plan, there's a shape to it, but what gives it life is all of the presence and participation of everyone who gathers. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, if that's all right.
Yeah, let's do that. Great. Thank you. So this is just an outline of what's going to happen, or when it is actually. So it's from Friday evening. And for those of you in Europe and the UK, I know you will have to listen to or watch the replay, but we'll do our very best to put the replays up within the time frame, sometimes it can take up to 2.5 hours to put it up. But we will do that as soon as we can. Okay, so you won't be missing anything for Saturday or Sunday. But these are just the time frames. So 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Eastern time, first day. And the topic or the theme that I'm going to be covering is release. So, and then I will go into much more details about what that is in the next couple slides. Day 2 is rewire, and day 3 is to raise. So raising vibration and so on and so forth, but some other stuff as well. So I will be going into that a little more in detail here. And it's all recorded, so you can watch at any time. I've already received a couple of emails saying I won't be able to attend live. Is that okay? And that's totally fine. I suspect because of due to the topic, it may not be as big of a course as some of the other ones that I've taught. And so I'm hoping I'm hoping that this won't, make other people just go, oh, I don't want to sign up. But I'm actually thinking about doing 2 breakout sessions where you just speak with the one other person. And, we might actually mix into the mixture as well. So some of you might get either of us or both of us or something, or one of us anyway. But wanted to go into a little bit more rewiring work of your brain with a breakout session just once on Saturday and possibly once on Sunday. But it's not going to be too intensive. A lot of us are very shy around the cameras, and doing breakout sessions can be a little bit hard. And if I'm in a course that they have to do breakout sessions, I'm the first to leave. But I'm going to do my very best, and I'll see, if it's small enough that we may not do breakout and we might just share each other's thoughts, that's okay too. But I'm thinking about it. So just be aware that may come in. Okay. So then let's go to the next. And could you, Chris, read that for me?
Yes, so experiencing lasting financial abundance and flow is much more than simply shifting into positive thinking or removing the hidden money blockages from your subconscious mind.
Yeah, I wanted to reiterate this because I've done a lot of work around positive thinking to, using different essential oils to change my vibrations, frequencies. I've done a lot of just a typical, let's say, manifestation type of work that's been around, I would say, since the late 1990s in particular. But I call them those are just kind of 2, it's like it needs an upgrade, really. And I've done a lot of work around my subconscious mind as well. But what really shifted my financial life and the healing around money, particularly Chris's healing around money, my healing around how I grew up and how we are as a couple, really came from not just working on our subconscious mind, which is very important. But if you don't understand the neurotransmitters or how the brain works, or also how the different systems of your body tends to hold on or get stagnant easily. And if you don't work around the organs, it just doesn't make a lasting change in the financial world either. So I just wanted to make sure that, if you're taking this course and you expect me to just go into only the subconscious blockages and things like that and give you nothing but, positive this and do this affirmations, then it's definitely not the course that you want to take, because this is very body oriented. This is embodying the financial healing and the flow. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And let's go to the next slide. And I love this one, because it's a friendship between, I love these teddy bears, friendships that gets created with your soul and the money, because soul uses money to express itself also. Soul uses other things too, but soul sometimes and oftentimes requires that financial healing and financial support in order to do its soul contract as well. So I just want you to make friendship. You want it to become closely connected to, and don't separate your soul work and your spirit work from the financial and the money side. And so, if you don't get anything out of what I'm talking about today, one thing I want you to get out of is this picture of the two teddy bears, putting arms around their shoulders. That's the image that you want to tattoo inside you. Okay. All right. And let's go to the next slide. And this is about the first day, and the theme is release. And so, what releases are we going to be going over? I'm going to be going over some body parts and organs. And it's not all your organs, particularly there's some that I will be talking about, and there's certain systems of the body that get stagnant when you're dealing with the financial stagnations and blockages as well. So we'll be working on releasing some of that through movements, breathing, meditation, and, even visualizations can be very helpful here as well, but really working through the system itself. And there are some facts about the brain that you want to understand. And so a little bit of brain science. And it's not necessarily like subconscious mind work, but it's more of a how does your brain work? And why do we continue to create these blockages and we continue to sabotage our relationships with the money? And oftentimes it comes from how the brain is wired. So it's important to learn neuroscience, really. And once you learn that, you go, oh, that's why it's doing that. Instead of being irritated by your own brain, you start to embrace it and say, thank you for doing exactly what the brain is supposed to do. And we'll be releasing resistance in the patterns that come into your life, and particularly supporting I'm going to be talking about mainly two neurotransmitters. One is particularly important for women, but the other one is important it doesn't matter what gender you are. It's very helpful in terms of motivating you. It's helpful for you to create more flow in your life. These are some of the neurotransmitters that you want to support through a good diet, but also some supplements. And, just knowing a little bit more about, these are the symptoms, or these are the signs when my particular neurotransmitters are not doing well. These are the blockages that will stop me from taking steps forward. So you'll be learning about that. And next one is like a mindset. So words and phrases that you often use that can block, and you can't rewire your brain. And it's very important that you understand what these words and phrases are and begin to change them or begin to stop using these phrases. That's going to help to rewire your brain as well, because it's all about the plasticity, right? Your neuroplasticity. Your brain is plastic, meaning it's malleable. It can move, it can rewire itself. And you'll be learning the psychic/mental saboteur or saboteurs in your system. And these more come from, I would say, Asian concepts and the Japanese, Tibetan concepts as well. And you want to learn about some of the saboteurs in you. Saboteurs is, we all have saboteurs in us because it's one of the archetypes that we all have in us. So it's not good or bad. It's just that you want to understand what is sabotaging me. And so that you can not ignore it or not even notice it, but you become aware enough that you can begin to have a dialogue with your saboteur. Okay. It's not, like I said, it's not good or bad. You just want to have more of a good relationship with the saboteur so you can manage it, tame it, and also work with it. And we'll be using tools, our breath work, meditation, and specific chakra. On the first day, I'll be going into one of the main chakras to really work on how do we create the flow that's more towards money and finance. And there's one particular chakra that is particularly helpful when you feel blocked and stagnant when it comes to flow of money. Okay. And we'll do just brief discussions. I'm not going to be going into a huge amount of feng shui because that could be a course on itself. You could be learning about feng shui for the next 15 years. But there are a couple of things I've learned growing up in Japan that's very important when it comes to money. And Vastu is basically very similar, but it's more of an Indian style of feng shui. And there's a particular areas in your house that you want to pay attention to. And if you pay attention to that particular location of your house and clear some things and change the flow in that area of your homes, that can also help the stagnation. So that'll be a little fun tools that you'll be learning. And let's go to day 2. And day 2 is about rewiring. And so when you think of rewiring, okay, how do I rewire my nervous system? So there'll be a little bit of a continuation from what we've been releasing on the first day, because once you release, you want to replace it with something else also, right? That's just kind of how human bodies work, is that when you release some of your patterns or habits, they need to be replaced with something else. So that's when the rewiring happens. So you will be learning brain and nervous system a little bit more. And this is the really cool part. You will be discovering some practices or like habits or things that you do that literally switches your financial flow off and does not help you to heal your finance and the relationships or the just the patterns that you've created with the finance. So this is very important that you learn, when are you switching your potential off? And then we'll do a practice that is the opposite of that to help you to start rewiring your brain so you don't keep doing this switching off and making it more stagnant kind of a practices. Okay. And so that'll be some of the daily tools that they'll be bringing in. Okay. And there's some cool daily tools that they'll be taking you through that I don't want to mention what they are because they're so much fun, but it's a little more to do with the brain as well. And as you get older, your brain can continue to rewire and your brain can change its form and you can wire differently, but you've got to do some of these exercises for your brain. So I'll be taking you through brain exercises that uses your full body, but also using your hands to do things for your brain also. So it'll be fun. And then realign your physical body. This is also important because you want to learn what areas of your body, what am I doing that is misaligned in your body? So we'll go through just looking at yourself, maybe looking at yourself in the mirror and say, oh yeah, I can see my alignment that is off here. And when your body is not aligned right, your chakras cannot stack just right. So then the wheels don't turn, because chakras means wheel and you want to turn the wheel, but they don't turn very nicely when you're misaligned. So you'll be learning about that. And this next part, I'm super excited about. And I told Chris and I said, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up because I thought, this could be a little too much. But I will, once you sign up, I will be giving you 3 websites that you can find out about your Ayurveda doshas. Ayurveda doshas, maybe some of you already know what your doshas are. And we are all tridoshic. We all have 3 doshas. Doshas means your constitutions. You're kind of like, are you like elements, right? Some people say I'm fire and water, or, I'm earth and water, or something like that. But you can learn about your constitutions, like your tendencies, and how that impacts how you interact with money and finance. So I will be going over that, but it will be your homework to find out your dosha. Because if you don't know your doshas, then it makes it a little bit hard for you to understand what I will be talking about. So it'll be pre-retreat homework for you to figure that out. And we'll be doing some breath work and, to create more flow. And this breath work is really interesting because we're going to be using your head positions and neck positions, movements to create flow that is connected to your 4th chakra and your heart center, and how that's connected to your lungs. And I've never shown you this before, so this will be totally new for all of you. And in fact, Ayurveda doshas and money too is new for most of you. So it'll be quite fascinating, I think. And this is where I'm going to be. I was thinking about this over the weekend and I thought, can I get into this? I think we can. It's 2 hours long, on Saturday. I think we can touch on it, because I think if we don't understand our own traumas and ACE scores, so it's the adverse childhood experiences scores, your own patterns of how you grew up, what your life was like, and your traumas that you've picked up, capital T or little t traumas, they certainly impact your personal finance. So I'm going to be tying that back in together and introduce you to a new way of looking at, why am I still having financial issues? Or maybe you are not having any financial issues, but maybe you want to grow your finance a little bit more as well, or just simply want to learn about this so you can teach your grandkids about this. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the next generations as well. It's what the Native Americans have always taught us: plant the tree today so that the 7th generations from now can have a forest that they can run around in, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to do in this work as well. And all my courses that I teach, it's not just for you, but it's for the future for all of us. And if we don't figure out how the financial health is showing up based on your traumas in your childhood experiences, then I think we can never quite move forward with this topic either. So this is going to be about the rewiring your money stories. And this is where I'm thinking about having a little bit of a sharing time, because it's a smaller group. Maybe have some time that we can discuss this around what are maybe 2 major stories in your life that really set the stage for you in how you have interacted with money. And, just so that you can learn about your patterns, and maybe you can teach the next generations what to look for. Because as long as we're in this human body on this earth, we are going to be dealing with some kind of money, some kind of finance. I'm a fan of cryptocurrencies. I am, but that's still a currency, right? It's still, there's an exchange that still has to happen. So I think it's important we learn about our own wiring of who we are, and let's rewire. And the 3rd day is to raise above it all and maybe beyond, and to expand, right? I really sat with it. These were very meditative things that I did for myself. It's like, first day, what's coming to me? What's coming to me? Every course I create, I go deeply into who I am, creating these themes and words and things like that. And raise is what came up for me. There were some other words that came, but nothing really vibrated as much as the word raise. And it's to raise your vibration, but it's also to raise your awareness and learn about your personal rhythm. And I'll be explaining what that means. And I think it'll be very fascinating for you. I learned this from one of my Japanese teachers, of your own personal rhythm and how to find your personal rhythm and when to watch out throughout the year. And there are four times in your 12 months that you want to be aware of your own personal rhythm, because there'll be a little bit of a dip that happens around that time. And that's when you want to raise your vibration specifically. But it's going to be different from person to person. And I want to make it a little more personal for this, because finance is a very personal issue. Okay. And the sacred Japanese practice that is very exciting for me to share with you. And it's going to be connected to specific body areas that gets congested and gets stagnant. So we'll be moving those areas through some of the practices and breathing. And this chakra part, I have actually recruited Chris to help me with this, but there's a small but mighty sub chakra in your body. And, I love the small but mighty. I think that's the kind of chakras that we need to be learning more about. We've all learned about the 7 chakras, and some of us are learning different chakras that expands more than 15. But these smaller chakras have a tremendous impact on the expressions of the bigger chakras. So there's this one particular one that I just absolutely love this chakra. So I am going to be asking Chris to guide us in this meditation to really tap into that, because this sub chakra is so directly connected to the expression of money and abundance and your desires, because it's a chakra that connects with the desire. But the desire comes from the word, basically, you're longing for your stars, right? You're longing to reach for your stars. So this chakra actually helps you to reach your stars and to be reunited with your stars. And the quality of the friendship with your soul will be revisited with the teddy bear. And then whole body movements, we'll be doing some movements and breathing. And, shift can't happen if your body is stagnant. If you're sitting all day long, nothing is going to change. So, we want to do things that will move your body. And lifestyle recommendations, this is always fun. I love giving you lifestyle recommendations. That includes a couple of really important supplements that helps with, I'm seeing that there's so much liver stagnation start going on, but there's a particular supplement that is so important, I'm finding out through my clinical work, that's helpful for not only for liver stagnations, but for financial stagnations. And I take this regularly, not every day, but regularly. And I'll give you some signs when you need this particular supplement, okay? And ways to nurture your soul every day. There are some practices that you can do to nourish and nurture your soul, okay? So those are the 3 days. And maybe let's quickly go over those next 2 slides and then we'll wrap up. But this retreat is about opening your body to increase your power and potential and awaken the flow within your body, right? But it's connection with the greater cosmic flow. Because I realized a while back that there's no scarcity in this world. The world is here to support you. Everything is available for you. Okay. But if your body is not receiving the signals because you're constipated, let's say, or your mind is wired in the old ways that you haven't been rewiring your brain with, then you're not going to feel it. You're not going to be able to receive. You're not going to be able to dial your radio just right so you can tune into the frequencies of the abundance and the cosmic flow. But please know, whether you sign up for this or not, know that the world, cosmos, the universe is always here showering you with all that you need and more. But you, as an antenna, has to rewire you and to connect you. That's your job. That is definitely your job. So that's what this is about, what this retreat is about. And taking actions and movements. If you're just going to sit there and think positively, most likely not a whole lot's going to change. And rewiring the brain, like I said, release limitations from your nervous system, because when you rewire your brain, you will be working with your nervous system. And, you know, there's so much talk about the vagus nerves and all that. Vagus nerves are very important. But at the same time, if you don't understand how the brain is wired, it isn't going to make tremendous difference either. You want to understand it, and you also want to feel it, and you want to move it, and you want to repeat it. Okay. It's both. There's a lot of spiritual work that is about just visualization. But if you don't language the visualization, you don't actually unite the brain. Okay. We have to stop separating brain into parts. Your brain is always wanting to work together. It's cohesive. It's working as a unit. It's not working as a separate sections. Okay. But this is when language is as important as the visualization. Okay. And anything else you want to add here, Chris? Removing and releasing money blockages we've talked about. So all the things that I've been talking about, discovering your wellspring and abundance points in your body through the chakra points as well, and renewing your friendship with money and soul. So if you're interested in like little more embodied practice, more action taking, more getting aware of where is my wiring, getting to know your ACE scores, getting to know your Ayurveda doshas, then this course is for you. Okay. And let's take a look at what this course is not for.
Before we jump there, can I say one quick thing, which is those of you that have taken programs from Masami before, you know that she is a master of connecting the body. I mean, from all of her training, but also from just the creative interface that she gives to all of this. And my background is also psychology. And so that's a piece that we often talk about. We both have had different kinds of trainings around neuroscience and neuroplasticity, and looking at the body from a functional perspective where things like nutrition and supplements intersect with what we're talking about. And I just wanted to point out one thing, which is that this idea that we're talking about money, okay? Money is something we also call currency. Currency comes from the word current, which means flow. And so we're talking about how all of these things connect together. And it's so important to understand how your brain is also part of this equation. If, like Masami is saying, if you're not caring for your whole system, if you're not giving your body what it needs to function, then what ends up happening is you actually lack the physiological energy to make the changes that you are hoping to see in your life. It's very hard for you to rise up out of that kind of narrow trench that you found yourself in. And that's why we talk so much about needing to move and move differently and elevate your energy from a physiological standpoint as well, so that you actually can sustain the movement forward. So I just wanted to make those quick notes before we move on to the next one.
Thank you. And this is our last slide, everyone. So, and this retreat is not about, if you're looking for more law of attractions or positive affirmations, or just sitting and meditating, or clearing subconscious mind of child imprints, stories do matter, but I don't want to just talk about that all day. It's good to notice it and then learn to rewire. Notice it, learn to rewire over and over. I mean, I think that is a key. Otherwise, I think we could get stuck in the trenches of traumas. And I think there are a lot of people who are doing emotional and trauma work that are getting stuck because it can get muddy in there and you can end up re-traumatizing yourself. And it's ultimately not rewiring them, or ultimately not changing the way they're interacting with life. So, please know that I will go into a little bit of your money stories, but it's not really to dig so much into your childhood imprints and trying to change the subconscious. Because I've done a lot of work around that and never quite changed my financial life till I started bringing it to the body level. So it's truly body, mind, spirit work, and removing blocks and wounds around money beliefs. That's not what this is about. Okay. And pep talks on pushing and doing more to make it happen. There's a lot of courses out there. You just need to put yourself out there, or, you just need to create a YouTube videos. You just need to go out there and show up for all these things. And I don't know, it's like so much out there right now that's pushing people to do. And action taking is important, but if it's not based on truly rewiring and elevating who you are, then it can just be more of a busy work. And then you end up putting yourself out there. You felt very vulnerable, and the response was so low that you feel so raw inside. You never want to put yourself out there. Right. So it's not that kind of a retreat. It's really, I want you to go inward, really get to know yourself from the inside out, because how you feel inside is going to show up outside as well. And it's a reprogramming your brain, okay, but not necessarily reprogramming your beliefs, because that's just going to happen if you know how the brain operates. So, I think neuroscience is very important here. And it's not about just sit there and surrender to, universe, God, give me what I need. It's like, no, you want to be involved in your life. Okay. And it's nothing to do with sparking joy either. Okay. We're not going to go through your closet and find the clothing that makes you sparkly, joyful, and get rid of the ones that don't. It's not like that kind of thing either. And I'm not trying to reinvent you either. You are beautiful already. Okay. We're just getting to know ourselves a little bit further, because there's so much depth to who we are. So I hope I'm making it clear enough what it is, what this is and what isn't. Because if you're looking for something that makes you feel fuzzy and sweet and feels like, oh, I'm so glad I took that weekend retreat because it made me feel all like, eating cotton candy fluffy, and you just go, well, that was nice, then probably don't do this one. Okay. Because it's not about feeling sweet and happy and, kumbaya. It's really not. Okay. It's really, you got to do your part. You got to go deeper. You have to understand what parts of your system is stagnant. You want to learn tools to remove blockages in your organs and your systems. You want to understand about how the brain works, but also you want to learn about some chakra systems that are minor and little, but mighty. And, you want to learn some different ways to breathe to support your finance and money. Okay. So hopefully it'll be new and exciting for many of you. So that's all I have. Any questions that are coming?
I don't see any questions. Let me do a quick scan of the chat.
Okay. If you have questions, please raise your hand too. We'll be happy to answer some questions. Yes, I know. I'm glad, excited, everyone. I love this. You make me laugh. Yes, I know. And some of you are so late there. So thank you for staying up to listen to this. Okay. Yes, you explained it clearly. I just signed up. Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be fun, but deep too. You know me. I'm not going to let you just have fun and feel like, oh, fuzzy. And then just 72 hours later, you're back to the normal, same old wiring of your brain. Then what is the point? We're here to really evolve. That's what we're able to do till the rest of our lives, and till your last breath, you can evolve. Yeah. So anything, Chris, you see in your comments? Yeah.
The question in the chat is, do you think a newcomer to your work would be able to follow this retreat experience?
Well, what do you think, Chris?
Well, I might be biased, but I personally think that anybody who has an interest in exploring their own life, their own connection, their own body, and how that reflects in their outward presence in the world is going to be able to benefit. That's one fortunate thing with Masami is she's not big on jargon. And so she will often explain things in different ways each time she talks about them, which is actually something that helps our brains because we don't get stuck on the language and start believing that the word itself is what's important. It's the feeling behind it. It's the action that it elicits from us. And so, yeah, I think anybody that has an interest in this topic would benefit from coming.
Mm-hmm. And I think, if you want to expand your business as well, and if you're a female business owners, it's tough out there. It's tough. But at the same time, though, when you learn about your own flow, you begin to understand what you're good at. And it becomes less of a copying other people. And it becomes more of your own signature. And your work becomes like your own fingerprints, your own swirls. They start to really shine. So I think in that sense, you will definitely get more confident in what you're doing by doing a course like this. And I wasn't sure, if I wanted to teach something like this because it's such an odd topic too. I get it. And I felt somewhat strange, to be honest with you, that I was going to offer this. But then I thought, well, why not? Because I'm financially successful at what I do. And I'm able to really enjoy my life doing exactly what I love doing. So why not share that? And why not share what I do for myself so that you can turn it around and use it for yourself? Yeah. Okay. So
just a couple of comments. Yeah. I wanted to share the chat just jumped. So let me find my place here. Donna says, I've taken a number of financial awareness classes. I'm excited to see what Masami and Chris will share. I believe they have a lot to share. And Natalia says, the friendship between money and soul is an absolutely new concept for me.
Yeah, welcome. I know that was something that I really sat with, and I kept saying, why am I teaching this? Like, why is this coming to me? And then the soul is like, well, there are many currencies that the soul uses. Really, love is one. Love is definitely one. Can you think of other ones, everyone? Maybe you can put it in the chat, but one of them is money. It really is, because if you didn't have money, everyone, okay, if you couldn't pay for things, you are struggling every day. It's really hard to have your soul's contract fulfilled. And I've only maybe not even met, because I was thinking about it. I thought, are there people in this world that fulfill their soul contract without a drop of money? And at first I thought, okay, what about Mother Teresa? And I thought, no, she was fundraising all the time. Did you know she traveled all across the globe for fundraising events so she can have the money to do her work? Okay. And so I started thinking about all these people, and I thought, no, they had all these people that were donating, or there was like fundraising that had to happen, or they had endowments or something like that so that they can do their work and to fulfill their soul work. So, I think we have to get out of this idea that if you are trying to fulfill your soul contract, I don't need money. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. So, and, I think, I don't know, Chris, do you have anything else to add before we go? It's at that top of the hour. So I'm excited. Anyway, I'm excited to share very new things, very new information for all of you that I have never really put it together like this, because I didn't want to talk about money, to be honest with you, till recently. So.
Yeah, I just would reiterate what you said earlier, which is that for so many of us that have had an inclination to do things that are spiritually oriented and to learn how to grow within ourselves from that perspective, it's often the case that we receive a message that somehow that is incompatible with things that have to do with finance. But it really doesn't make any sense. If you think about it and you really pay attention to how the world works and how your life works, I think that we can say pretty confidently that money and finance is a huge component of our lives. I mean, it's very much an expression of our material existence. And so I'll put it as a question. Wouldn't you rather be able to feel relaxed and confident around your orientation toward money and finance instead of, armored and self-protecting and resistant and trying to not let in any more than you have to? And I'm saying this from my own personal experience, that the more we can open ourselves to a broader experience, to having a deeper understanding of all of these connections, the richer and the fuller our lives are almost certainly going to be. And with that, I'm going to do one last thing, which is to put the link.
Hold on, Chris. I want to say one thing that I forgot to mention. So Chris's financial flow started changing. This was years ago when he asked me, when he was over, I think he stopped counting his weight when he hit about 39 pounds. I don't even know.
Stop counting. So
I think, when did you stop weighing yourself? I guess is the question.
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Somewhere there, he stopped, getting on the scale. So he was becoming so overweight that he was in pain all the time. Right. And he started to run and he started to exercise so much. And then some of you listened to his interview, but he started to lose some weight and he got to about 190. And he looked at me one day and he said, yeah, I suppose this is about okay. And he said, I think 190, maybe 187 would be good enough. And I looked at him and I said, what are you talking about? Why are you putting a limitation like that? Like, let the body decide. You attend to this body, nourish this body, take care of this body, and the body will decide when the body will find its beautiful equilibrium. It's the same thing, because he asked me, when is it enough, kind of thing. He asked me, like, he grew up in a household where his father was a minister at a church, 5, siblings, him put together too, in it. Newspaper boy, no money, getting clothing and food from food bank. That's how he grew up. So for him, it's like he put a number to his money also. And he asked me, and I said, why are you putting the number? Let's let the universe decide as we work on our bodies and create flow in our lives. Then the money will let us know. When is it enough? He's like, when is it enough for you? Because he thought if he could pay the mortgage off, if he can pay off the student loans, no debt anymore, isn't that enough? And I said to him, why don't we just continue to work on who we are and let the vibration of money decide what that means to us? And we're still learning.
The secret to all of this, which is embedded in all of the work that Masami does and that I do and that we do together, is that the secret and the answer to these things is that we have to look into what needs to change. And I can tell you that when I was caught in those patterns, I did not want to look under the table. I didn't want to look in the box that I'd closed things away and hidden them. I didn't want to have to change. And so when I said, this is good enough, it was a safe way for me not to have to be responsible for anything else. And I'll tell you that the secret I'm talking about, it comes back to the body, because at that particular time, I had no energy. I couldn't even contemplate making one single change beyond what I was already doing. And that is one of the most powerful connections that we can make, is to bring it back together nourish our bodies, and give ourselves the energy that it takes to actually not only have the courage, but also the courage to act. And I'm going to quote John O'Donohue again because I love him, but the courage to live the life that I would love. That's what we're talking about here, is having the courage. And if I can add my own little bracket into John's quote, to have the courage and the energy to live the life that I would love.
Yeah. And I think this is how it worked, right, Chris, with us, is that more energized we became, more flow we felt inside us. The universe basically said, all right, you're ready for the next one. Let's go do this, So it's not like I was mustering up like more things I have to do from me. I have to be solely working on the creativity. It wasn't like that. I'm co-creating because I have so much energy and flow. So the universe is like, hey, do you want to do this next time? Hey, do you want to do that next month? And I'm like, okay, I'll show up. Let's do this together. But if I could barely sleep at night, I'm up all night, okay? I barely could get out of bed in the morning, which was me, which was Chris, everyone. He could not get out of bed till like 9 a.m, and he was a vice principal of a school, everyone. And he arrived at the school at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. Like he snuck in through the back door. So no students and other teachers will see that he's a vice principal who's arriving at the school the latest.
And I want to say it's not because I was wanting to do that. It's because I couldn't help but do it that way just to get through the day. And that's what we're talking about changing, is having that kind of shutdown, scarcity, and availability of resources internally that are preventing us from reaching for what we're seeking in our outside life, in the world. Okay, so when I was able to shift that pattern, not only did I come back to a weight that was a healthy, natural weight that I don't have to struggle at, but also my energy came back, and I don't have to hide away or and just not be able to face the day. I have what I need for whatever comes. And that is behind all of this. That's behind this reach outward to embrace the financial healing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that's it. I think just what you can get out of today, whether you sign up or not, is that work on your body. And if you're flowing through here and energy's moving, new energetic creativity and new expression would just naturally begin to happen for you, because you are the conduit of the universe. You are the conduit. You are being used and utilized for good reasons, okay? But if you are not capable of taking on that role, it energetically bypasses you. And you just get lower and lower in your energetic fields. Start with you. Start with the systems that's blocking your financial expressions. So I think what we've done for the last 20 plus years around the finance has been upside down. We've all worked on the finance, the energy, the manifestation, yada, yada, yada. We forgot the body. So let's bring the body back into this equation and see what happens. Okay. So hopefully you will all sign up. Thank you. And then if you want to know more about it, you can go to masamicovey.com, and it's on the homepage. You can click on it and read about it. Okay. All right. With the teddy bears in your mind, remember teddy bears, because your soul's best friend is money. Your soul is housed by your body. Okay. Repeat after me, everyone. Your soul is housed by your body. Okay, so take care of you. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.